Kiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Narotika Soba.
This is one of a few instructional videos that are being produced by the Sunday School of ISKCON of Philadelphia as a service to the ISKCON community. This first one contains some guidelines and tips about performing Hare Krishna Kirtan with Kartals. This topic is particularly important since Kirtan and Sankirtana, or chanting the holy names of the Lord congregationally, has been recommended by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the avatara of Krishna for this age, and is a foundation practice of bhakti and the Hare Krishna movement. In the early days, Srila Prabhupada spread the movement by sitting down with a few students and chanting the Mahamantra in the parks of New York City. He also taught from and emphasized distributing Krishna consciousness literature. Thus, the movement quickly spread globally. We hope to imbibe his guidance and follow in his footsteps so that we can do a little service to help the movement continue to flourish and grow.
There is a nice verse from Srimad Bhagavatam in this connection. Etan nirvidlamananam ichatam akudhobhayam yoginam nripanrinidam harirnam anukirtanam. Constant chanting of the holy names of the Lord, following the ways of great authorities, is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who want material enjoyment, those who have no material desires, and those who are satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge.
There are a number of dimensions of Kirtan: the mantra, the instrumentation, the volume, the tune, the tempo, and the pitch. Different students will present suggestions about each area and also cite quotes from Srila Prabhupada and Vedic literatures as applicable.
An overarching principle of all these Kirtan dimensions is that they are all in the context of Sankirtan, and that it is ideal that they must all be performed in such a way that as many people as possible can participate and thus be included.
The chanting and hearing of the Mahamantra, the Lord's holy name, is the main aspect of Kirtan. Sometimes people become distracted by playing a musical instrument or by the kiri and do not chant. This should be avoided. Srila Prabhupada said in a conversation in Bombay in 1976, if he plays, his attention will be diverted in musical instrument, not to chanting. But that is not good. Our concentration should be hearing Hare Krishna, that is bhakti. All other aspects of the kirtan, volume, musical instruments, tune, tempo, pitch, etc., should support chanting and hearing of the Mahamantra. The mantra contains 16 words and 32 syllables. The first syllable of the word Rama is a long day, and the second syllable is a short day. If, for example, the second syllable in Rama is prolonged like a long day, it becomes Rama, which changes the meaning. The second syllable of Krishna is also a short day, so the same principle applies. Krishna accepts the intention of the devotee, Bhavi Grahi Janardana. But still, since we are trying to develop love of Krishna, it is advised one take the trouble to chant his name correctly.
Srila Prabhupada said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply used Kartal and Kola, that's all. In those days, of course, there was no harmonium, but many stringed instruments were there, such as the sitar and the esaraj, but these were not used. Sometimes we do use to attract, but it is not required. Thus, Kartals are a primary instrument used in Kirtan, and just like any other instrument, it takes guidance and regular practice to play them properly. You cannot just pick them up and immediately expect to play well. They are not simply noisemakers. If they're not played well, they can disrupt the kirtan. Just like any other instrument, there are higher and low quality kartals based on the type of metal used for making them. Kartals fashioned out of bell metal are more expensive than those made of brass or other alloys. Bell metal kartals emit a sweet ringing sound when struck, whereas kartals made from other metals emit a rough clanging sound. Invest in a good pair of bell metal kartals. Also, since there are two metal parts of the kartals that chime together when buying your kartals, it is a good idea to make sure the two parts ring at the same pitch and not at different pitches, so the resulting sounds are in sync and not discordant.
The kartalas should be played at a volume markedly less than the volume of the vocal chanting for many reasons. 1. So that the Hare Krishna mantra can be clearly heard without being drowned out by the kartals and other instruments. 2. So that the kartala players stay in time with the leader. During kirtans, there is no conductor. The tempo of the kirtan is determined by the kirtan leader. When the kartals are played loudly, it is more difficult for the kartala player and others to tell when they are in sync with the leader's tempo at all times, and particularly when the leader might choose to change the tempo. 3. When the volume of the kirtan is very loud, it can damage a person's hearing if they are exposed to it for too long. Jayadvaita Swami has written a comprehensive article entitled Noise-Induced Hearing Loss, which can be reviewed on his personal website in the section About Health. You are encouraged to read the article for your own benefit and for the benefit of those who participate in Kirtan. One frequent comment from newcomers to Kirtan is that the kartalas are painfully loud. Recent monitoring of Philadelphia temple Kirtans indicated that decibel levels often exceeded 100. Exposure to that volume over time can be damaging to one's hearing.
Melodies are like the garlands decorating the deity of the holy name. In response to a question, what tunes are bona fide and what melodies can be used, Srila Prabhupada replied in a letter to Ekayani, so far no question. Any tune can be used. When it is in relationship to Krishna, that makes it bona fide. In the letter to Sureshwara, Srila Prabhupada said, you may choose any suitable tune. Most important is the melody or pain simple. Chant a tune that is relatively easy to follow. There are many complex tunes. If a melody is too complex, some people will have trouble following and may not chant. Although not a requirement, there are ragas and melodies that can be used for different times of the day. As an example, Srila Prabhupada liked the morning cue to be used for Mangalarti and morning prayers. One can also listen to and chant melodies sung by Srila Prabhupada.
As mentioned above, there is no conductor during Kirtan, so remaining at the tempo set by a leader can be challenging, especially when the variety of instruments being played at different tempos. Perhaps induced by the motive passion, it is very common for Kartal players and all of us to have an unconscious tendency to speed up during slower tempos and to slow down during quicker tempos. This results in the progress and development of the Kirtan being stunted.
It is recommended that when you are learning to play kartals that you practice with a metronome to get used to playing on a steady beat. Metronome applications are available for iPhones and physical ones can be purchased also. They are very important to use while practicing in order to learn to become sensitive and attuned to a steady tempo. Srila Prabhupada often started kirtans at a slow and sometimes a very slow tempo.
There are many dimensions to attend to simultaneously during a kirtan. The most important being fixing one's mind on chanting and hearing the holy names. Starting at a slow tempo can help facilitate fixing your mind that way. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never considered the holy name of the Lord to be a material vibration, nor does any pure devotee mistake the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra to be a material musical manifestation. Lord Chaitanya never tried to be the master of the holy name. Rather, he taught us how to be servants of the holy name. If one chants the holy name of the Lord just to make a show, not knowing the secret of success, he may increase his bile secretion, but he will never attain perfection in chanting the holy name.
So today, I'm going to teach you how to play Kartals. So the first thing you're going to do is take your index finger and wrap it around the string twice, like this. So it's snug, but not too tight. You do the same thing on the other side. So usually when you're playing Kartals, you play on a 1, 2, 3 beat. So the first 2 times that you start them together, you're going to have your thumbs on the heads of the Kartals to make a more muffled sound like this. And on the 3rd time, you're going to lift your thumbs off and let the Kartals just rest against each other to make a more of a ringing sound, which people call a sizzle, like this. I recommend you use a wrist motion more than an arm motion, because when the tempo speeds up, you won't be able to keep up. This is how it is when you use your arms. When you use your wrist, it's more efficient. This is arm motion, and this is wrist motion. I also recommend that you practice using a metronome so you can get used to having a steady beat. Metronome applications are available on all smartphone devices. Just as a review, number 1, get a quality pair of Kartals. Number 2, don't play too loudly that you drown out the mantra. Number 3, practice using a metronome so you can have a steady beat. Number 4, to sing a tune that everybody can follow. And most importantly, to remember to concentrate on hearing the Lord's holy names. And remember, you're asking Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani to please engage me in your service.